All right, there's this guy that I used to watch on a platform called the Asabe Africa. Anybody know what Asabe Africa is? Do you guys know what Asabe Africa is? Anybody knows? This Baba right here, this man in the white sutana. His name is Prophet MKO Marcus Tibetan. That's his name. And he's a prophet, and what he does is that every year he writes books of predictions of what's to happen that year. And is it's quite known, not as popular as TB Joshua, obviously, but it's known, And he had some very strong opinions about TB Joshua, and I thought we should talk about this today. So I'm going to have to do translation of Yoruba. Actually, I think there might be a subtitle, but let's see. Let me try this. Hold on one second. Yeah, I might just read the subtitle if that makes sense. But if not, I'll do translation of Yoruba. It mostly does its sessions in Yoruba. So, and let's see. Boom. Boom. So anybody know who Baba Tibetan is? You guys know who this person is? This Baba right here. He's always in white sutana. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Asabe Africa. Asabe Africa is a channel. Yes, Asabe Africa is a channel. So this Baba used to be on there with the host. The host is a journalist, and I forgot his real name, his actual name, And so the host is a journalist, and but they have recently parted ways. So he used to just go to this Baba Tibetan, this prophet guy, the one on the right. And he will go there, interview him, talk about the prediction. He predicted Tinubu will win. He predicted a lot of stuff. Because some people say his predictions doesn't always come true, but he always has explanations and rationale to why some of his predictions did not come true. Okay. Now we're not here to drag the prophets. Okay, but maybe we're here to hold on one second. We're not here to drag the prophets. We're just here to kind of let's compare apples and apples, oranges and oranges. Let's see what we're dealing with here as we're moving into the new era. Because the reality is that these are extremely powerful, influential people, and they do control your mothers, your sisters, your parents. Sometimes when somebody comes and you try to call somebody and they're not picking up the phone, or they don't want to come to the family meetings, sometimes because they've spoken to some of these people, they might have told them, not this man in particular, but in general, they might have told them that there's a witch in their house and they shouldn't come around family too much. That's what happens a lot of times. Okay. Most times that's what happened. In fact, you might think maybe the ritualist, the herbalist that there was, the new age ritualist and herbalist are a lot of clergymen within the body of Christ. Just in case you're not paying attention yet, let me remind you that a lot of the modern day ritualists and herbalists are calling the name of Christ. Let's get it together. Pay attention. I'm going to play this video and then I'll do translation.
TB Joshua, ọdún wo lẹ ṣe ìwé yìí 2021 ni ìwé eléyìí ló jáde àsọtẹ́lẹ̀ ọdún 2021.
All right. So I will just listen to the background and translate. This is his 2021 book of predictions. So inside the book, in that year there will be some problems within the synagogue church. That's what he said. He said right now there's so many evil events. He's talking about the BBC documentary about TB Joshua.
I'm expecting something big on August 19th, 2024.
We don't care.
That could radically.
TB Joshua tí ẹ̀ máa fipá bá wọn lò pọ̀ àwọn kan ní gbogbo ohun táwọn èèyàn ń rí gẹ́gẹ́ bí iṣẹ́ ìyanu kọ́.
He said what people were seeing, he's talking about the BBC, he's just narrating the BBC stuff, that what people are seeing as miracle is not miracle. And if you look closer, if you look on the face of Prophet Tibetan, he's smiling. He has the smirk on his face. And this is who he is. He has a tendency to you see, the thumbnail says better than him, and that's what we're trying to look at today. Like, is it necessarily better than TB Joshua? Remember I talked about Pastor Chris Okotie, and I said these guys are not better. They never addressed the allegation. They all want to claim that I'm the one who is closer to Christ, and that's what most of them are doing. This story I'm covering right now is a big story. I just want you to stick with me. I'm just going to cover it, and then we'll talk, okay? But let's get back to the video. Let's see. He's talking about Joker now. He's just re-narrating everything that happened with the BBC. So just in case you've been under the wood, we're talking about a synagogue, the founder of synagogue, the late Prophet TB Joshua, right? There was an expose on BBC of some women claiming that they were sexually assaulted, manipulated, violated by Prophet TB Joshua. Now, since then, there's been a lot of disciples of the TB Joshua that came out and say, well, they don't have that kind of experience, which is kind of weird, because obviously we know that you didn't have that kind of experience. That's a very weird pushback, but we just leave it alone. And that's what we're talking about right now, okay? So, but this man had been predicting and talking against the ministry of TB Joshua. Actually, it looks like it's for a long time he's been talking against it, right? But again, it's very easy to now say, let's take side. He's been talking against TB Joshua. It must be that he belongs to God. Is that really the case? We'll find out. I'll let you determine today based off of everything I'm playing for you.
Ìyẹn gan ló wà lára ìdí tí mo fi béèrè ìbéèrè àkọ́kọ́ pé iṣẹ́ Olúwa ẹ̀dẹ̀ akọ́bí ṣé kìí á ṣe ẹ̀dẹ̀. Now, pẹ̀lú àwọn àsọtẹ́lẹ̀ yìí.
He said, is the work of God is a mystery or not?
Sọ lórí ẹ̀.
Kàwé olótìtọ́.
He said Olotito would be a truth teller, I guess, you know, a faithful person, a faithful truth teller. They usually don't have a mat to lay on, I guess. Any is mat in Yoruba language.
Pastor Jeremiah Omoto Foyin.
There's a guy called Jeremiah Omoto Foyin. He's now predicted inside that book. He's saying that is still going to come true. I don't know what he's saying in the book, but he's predicting that something is going to happen with or to Jeremiah Omoto. So I don't know who that is. Another prophet or something. Okay, so there's a prophet Jeremiah who has replaced the Abacadabra magician type, ministry of TB Joshua. That's what he's saying. I'm trying to see right now if I can find some information on, but let me continue to play that.
Yes, Ben, Jeremiah. This is 2023. Global atrocities to commit in Germany and everything. I want to record it.
So he's saying that new person committed some atrocities in Germany and they were also recorded, and he's the next is the person. Okay, Omoto Fufeyin. Okay, I think I found somebody. Some prophets, again, they're all over the place. I don't know if you're used to. Okay, I know this guy. I've seen this guy somewhere. All right, so he's the new person. Now, there's a lot of people actually questioning him. Actually, I think there might be some BBC documentary on him already, but maybe it's just coverage. This guy right here. Have you guys seen this guy anywhere on social media? He's very popular too. I didn't know his name. Prophet Jeremiah Omoto Fufeyin. Okay, that's the person you're looking at right now, and he has some kind of event going on, Cash Flow 2024 in February 2028. I bet he's a 51-year-old man, founder and head prophet of Christ Mercy Land Deliverance Ministry, Efron, Delta State. Okay, all right, let's get back to the video. So he's now saying, he's just mentioned another prophet. So he's been doing that for years. He calls out, he's a prophet, he calls out other prophets. He said he's been saying it, that TB Joshua is not a man of God, that he's not a prophet of God. He said the 2023 is in there. No, wait, what? He said it's inside 2022 too.
Pé ìyàsọ́tọ̀ nínú ọdún yìí láàrin ẹni tó sin Ọlọ́run àti ẹni tí ò sin Ọlọ́run. Then orúkọ mi ṣe máa jáde ní April àti May táwọn olórí míì tó ti rúlù wa rí máa sá kúrò Nàìjíríà. Torí ọdún yìí la máa tó mọ àwọn tó kówó wa jẹ, ẹni tó kó púpọ̀ jù, ẹni tó fìyà jẹ wá jù, àwa máa mọ̀ pé kì í ṣe APC. Pátì kọ́ ló kówó wa jẹ, àwọn tó wà ní pátì yẹn ló kówó wa jẹ. Ó dàbí ẹni tó fẹ́ ṣépè fún ẹni tó rí ewúrẹ́ tí ewúrẹ́ wá jẹ oko ẹ̀, ewúrẹ́ yẹn ni kò mú àbí kò blọ́ọ̀kì ibi tó ń wá. So ní táìmù tí ó wà láyé, mo lọ síbẹ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀mẹ́ta.
Ní sinagogu.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ láti lọ sọ fún mi.
Okay.
Pé mo gbọ́ pé Ondo State ló ti wá. Then àwa yìí náà wòlíì dẹ̀ ń wá o. Mo tún mọ wo fáìlì àwọn wòlíì ò sí ń bẹ̀. How come? Ó ní ń kú kò sí fáìlì kankan ẹ̀kíní kan ti bí. Even àbúrò mi, ọmọ bàbá mi, kí n forúkọ bò láti tó ti marry. Ó lọ síbẹ̀ láti máa ṣe lára àwọn tó ń sọ oúnjẹ fún.
He's just telling his TB Joshua story. He said even his own sister went to the synagogue and he had to go and get her away from there.
Then kò dé like àwọn tó ti bá sùn tẹ́lẹ̀ torí òògùn àti ògbóni tó wà ẹ̀jẹ̀.
He said because it's a part of our occultic groups, like they call them Ogboni. I don't know the English of Ogboni in Yoruba. But he said because they're part of that, they need the blood of virgins. So if it's somebody that's already been used, it's not really interested. Okay? It's not really interested. All right. Let's continue.
Virgin.
He said they use virgins. And whoever is slept with cannot have children unless, and then he put a little caveat. He said unless their destiny saved them, right? So, but that kind of statement should be an absolute. Whoever he slept with should not be able to have babies. If he said unless the destiny saves them, then it kind of like negates everything you said before that. These are some of the things I want you to pay attention to when these people are talking. They always leave some kind of room somewhere. Okay, that does not mean they're not powerful, because again, like I said, The modern day ritualists and herbalists, they call the name of Christ. Okay, let's continue.
ló máa collect ṣe ti yẹn sìn ọgbẹ kúrò mbẹ ní o tó wá di time kan ẹnìkan ní breast cancer wọ́n wá lọ síbẹ̀ wọ́n á lọ bóbìnrin pé why don't you go to the hospital first?
He said somebody had breast cancer and then he went there to the woman and said, why don't you go to the hospital first?
Ibi tó wá yìí wọ́n máa yí ò ní yọjú sí yín.
He said, where you came, this man is not going to see you.
Yọjú sí o. Then ọjọ́ kẹ́yẹ.
Because he's talking about he's been there 3 times to go and warn him that what you're doing. Okay, so he went, now he's talking about the 3rd time he went there.
Third one.
The 3rd
I
one.
was traveling to abroad.
He always mentions that I was traveling to abroad, or I finished saying what I said and I went to London, or I finished what I said and I went to America on my own. He says that a lot if you've listened to him. His name is Tibetan, Prophet Tibetan. Okay, so he said he was traveling to the abroad on the 3rd time.
On a mission. Then I saw the whole airport was filled with people. Who are these people? He said the South African people came to Nigeria to have a convention in synagogue. I said, oh my God. I was terribly touched.
So I think that's English he spoke, right? He saw a bunch of people coming into the country and they were coming for a convention at synagogue. He said he now told all the people around him, that means the rich people. I don't know why he needed to say that, but he said it. The people of his church, he now told them, you see all these people that came, they won't go back. He said they will kill all of them.
Maryland.
Then when he got to Maryland, I'm not sure if he's talking about Maryland in Ikeja or Maryland here in the DMV. But he went, as soon as he got to Maryland, well, he already said he was going to abroad. So there's probably Maryland in DMV, right?
4 days.
He said he hasn't used more than 4 days when he got to Maryland. He said the building killed all of them. Remember the building that collapsed? So he's basically saying he predicted it. Okay. Dilo says more names will come out in May. Even politicians will be exposed. Wahala. When he saw alive, I went there 3 times and told him he's now recognized in the Christian Association. Right. That's what he said, right? Yep. What's going on, Rena? Welcome. All right, let's continue.
2014, the year. 2014.
So that was 2014. So the building killed all of them, 116 people. He said, but God did not send him to them. Like if he had known, he would have, but God did not send him to them.
So people want to cool. Oh, you want Lagos State by bribe, what you and
he said that's how they all died, and they called the Lagos State. The Lagos State took some bribe, and basically it's over.
Somebody pay 116.
I see the love. Thank you, Jerry.
Ọgọ́fà làwọn èèyàn tó kú. Ṣùgbọ́n àwọn kan sọ pé ó jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ.
Ó jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Wọ́n pọ̀ ìgbà yẹn ló initiate yẹ. Tó bá jẹ́ Amẹ́ríkà kiri àwọn èèyàn.
He said that's when they initiated TB Joshua with the 116 people. Okay.
Somebody very popular.
So anytime they want to initiate, kind of like the gang, like the Blood and Crips, right? They take a gun and they try to find somebody that's very popular, somebody powerful to get rid of.
Hello. Irú Mohbad tó ń pa yẹn ń sìn ẹnìkan ló fi gbógun ní cultism.
Ẹnìkan fi gbókun ní.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni sẹ́, fi gba title.
I think who was the person that helped me with the Okun thing? I think it was Brother Ben last time. He said even the Mohbad that was killed, that somebody used it to collect rank. The Okun is rank. Like the little small twined rope around a military man's shoulders, right? So we call it Okun in Yoruba. He said they used to collect rank, even Mohbad. That's what he's saying now. He said if you ask those people what are they doing there, they don't know. That's why there's so many people there.
adẹ̀tí wọ 29 ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ tó wá ṣe náà
29 years.
yes ẹ̀ tó wá ṣe náà wọ́n gbàdúrà wọn lọ ilé ẹ̀ because it said in the book of
He said, whoever comes to church and they pray, they just go back home. Only, but he's trying to compare himself to what they do at TB Joshua, basically.
1 Samuel 8, 1 Samuel 9.
Would you be interested in collecting 5-figure paychecks for a few hours
No.
of work, helping me in your spare time?
Only the camel that got missing. How do we get it back? He said, you know what? I know of a man, a prophet that normally comes once in a year, and the name was what? Samuel. So when he was to approach this man in chapter 9, only Saul, the son of Kish, only the camel that got missing, rest assured has been found. Oh, so that's to know a prophet of God. But there was a row in chapter 8 of 1 Samuel. But Samuel was not happy. But our ọmọ Israeli kan disgrace òun bẹ́ẹ̀. Olúwa wá sọ fún Samuel, don't bother. Ìwọ kọ́ ni wọ́n kọ̀, èmi náà kọ̀. Go ahead and give them the profile of their.
Okay, another thing about this particular prophet is that he knows the Bible in and out. Back to back, you know. So he tends to quote Bible a lot. But if you understand anything about the scriptures, there's more than enough stuff that you can quote in there to justify nonsense. I'm not saying that's what he did. I'm just saying it's not an indicative of anything, okay? Again, when it comes to the Bible, you'll learn more about the Bible today too. What is useful for and what you can't use the Bible for, you know. But keep in mind, again, the modern day ritualists and herbalists, they're all calling the name of Christ. Why? Why are they calling the name of Christ? Okay? It's no bigger reasons behind the same reasons why maybe we have TB Joshua on this, right? I have TB Joshua on the title, on the thumbnail. I'm not about to preach TB Joshua's message. It's just trendy right now, right? Same reason. Okay, they use the name of Christ because people kind of tag on to the name of Christ. Anytime they're looking for a way to connect with God, all you have to do is mention the name of Christ. You have to pay attention. This is why the scripture is said, talked about this. The scripture itself talked about you should know them by their fruits. A lot of people struggle with that, you know.
King. They said they want king. They don't want prophet again. No problem.
Of one loba.
Yes. Then when it was 1 Samuel,
He's now saying the people want king, they don't want prophet anymore. He's quoting a Bible verse to justify that, they want a TB Joshua, they should go and get the TB Joshua. But those of us who will stay here. We are the truth tellers, the faithful ones. That's basically what he's suggesting right now.
12, when the man was about to die, ó dúró síwájú wọn. Ó lé mi Samuel ojú mi ti ṣú, mo ti fẹ́ kú. That's how a prophet died. So kẹ́tẹ́kẹ́tẹ́ ta ni mo gbé? Àgùntàn ta ni mo gbà? Ta ni mo fọwọ́ gbà mú ẹ̀rí? Ta ni mo yọ lẹ́nu rí? Wọ́n ní kò sí. So mo ti ń lọ.
He said, who did I touch their breast before? They said nobody. He said, okay, so he's better than him. That's the whole point.
Bí wo lè ṣe ń ṣiṣẹ́ ni? Then gbà tó wá wọ chapter 15, verse 10 to 18, ó tún sọ fún pé wọ́n ní go and destroy the Amalekite. Then Saul ṣe tinú ẹ̀. Ìyẹn náà fi sọ pé to obey is better than what? Sacrifice. Then he was dragging the prophet. Àwọn prophet ayé àtijọ́ yẹn kẹrẹ. Aṣọ kan náà náà wọ̀ tó ń gbẹ tó ń ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀. Aṣọ yẹn ti gbó máa ti fẹ́ dàgbà.
He said the prophet of the olden days, they're always wearing the same clothes and they just live a humble life, right? But we'll get to the point in a second here. Let's continue.
Okay, that you turn my clothes. Before they have relinquished your power, but now they have turned.
It's a fight over a year.
So there's a prophet. Then, ní time on yẹn, mo ti sọ fún un. Even Evangelical Church of Yahweh, kì í ṣe wòlíì Ọlọ́run, wòlíì Babangida ni.
Anthony Evangelical Church of Yahweh.
Olabayo.
Some Olabayo guy, the Evangelical Church of Yahweh, he said it's not the prophet of God. It's the prophet of Babangida. He says, man, if you probably will enjoy more if you understand Yoruba. I'm trying to see who's the Evangelical Church of Yahweh now. Evangelical Church of Yahweh. Yahweh. All right. Some Olabayo guy Some Olabayo person. Bayo person. No, I can't find it. I just know there's a branch somewhere in Jersey City. All right, but somebody, he said it's not a prophet of God. It's the prophet of Babangida.
Olabayo. Mo rí nínú bíi pé orúkọ ẹ̀ wà lára orúkọ tẹ́ ẹ dá.
So he's mentioning names in his book, and the book is about prediction. The book of predictions, obviously, they will sell. They'll sell like hotcake because people want to know the future. It's either they want to know the future, or they want to know if their problem will be solved in the future, or they want to know some kind of secret to some kind of signs and wonders and miracles. People are obsessed with it. Obviously, Nigerians especially are obsessed with that, So he knows what he's doing when he writes books about prediction every year at the beginning of the year. He knows exactly what he's doing. It's no other reasons than something similar to why people pray 21 days, 30 days at the beginning of the year, right? Because it's new beginnings. People try to take advantage of the vibe of that period, that season, right? A lot of people are still in their 21 days prayer for the beginning of the year, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, as long as you have a relationship with God. That's all we keep saying, right? But I want you to be aware that the modern day ritualists and herbalists are using that, okay, to cajole people, to keep them in bondage, okay, keep them within, keep them in that cult-like, practice. It's just all part of the game, and yes, it's a game. Let's continue.
Then again, you want your Olabayo to be somersault in stroke. Then
all right, so that person that passed away, I guess they said the person is somersaulting inside of a stroke.
Guru Maharaj.
He said Guru Maharaj is not a person of God.
Then
He said somebody said in Ibadan that he's always criticizing everybody, which is a good point. It's a good, like, why do you find yourself criticizing everybody? That's a good question. Let's see how he answers that.
Then Lion of Judah.
He didn't answer it.
Ajanaku,
Ajanaku, Lion of Judah. Well, Ajanaku has passed away. He passed away some kind of mysterious death to some guy back there that went viral, and they said the occultic group were looking for his body. They came to carry his body. There was a lot of viral stuff around that Ajanaku guy at the time, right? So he's talking about that Ajanaku now, and I'm guessing he also predicted that would happen. Let's continue. He said the name of the masquerade in the family where Ajanaku came from is the name Ajanaku, right? But when he came to Lagos, he said he's Prophet Ajanaku. Well, it's kind of similar to a person who is a billionaire. They worshipped Ogun in their family, and now today, as of yesterday, he's been announced as the billionaire Bayo Ogunlesi. Ogun means the ancestors worshipped Ogun. That really doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things, but let's just let it slide, right? That person's family before was Ajanaku. That's the name of the masquerade. But when he became a prophet, he became a prophet. Now that one had all kind of craziness around him too, around his story. That was that one, by all indication, is a ritualist, But he was also calling the name of Christ like everybody else. Let's continue.
So one big African Cup of Nations. Time we are salvation cover. One time. So one prophet select or not do one else prophet Ajanaku is the original prophet. Original prophet now. It's not part of us. Money even has about 3 weeks to go. For you to know that it's not part of us.
He said it's not part of us. He had about 3 weeks for you to. So if he dies in 3 weeks, now we know it's not part of us. You see logic. Let me rewind it.
So one prophet select or not do one.
Some prophet in Sele.
Prophet Ajanaku is the original prophet.
So the person is asking him. So a bunch of people are now asking to him. They are coming to him. If you make yourself the authority, who knows who is a real prophet or not, right? People will come to you. You know, if you make yourself the authority and you say, hey, I'm the one who can read hands, palms, like you're the awo, right? If you do it, if you tell people you can read it and stuff like that, people will come to you and they will want to test it, right? Especially if you start to get some kind of testimonials and say, hey, you know, you read, you know, somebody read this for me and it came to pass. People are going to, you know, and people are gullible like that. You don't have to do much to actually predict. All you have to do is just predict that Tinubu will win, or just predict that Kanye West is about to lose all of his billions in 18 days. And people are gullible like that, you know. They might come to you and start asking you a question, you know. So can we blame people for that? No, we can't blame people for that. That's just how people are, you know. So he's saying, you know, he's talking about Ajanaku. Let's continue.
Original prophet.
He said, how is Ajanaku original prophet?
Original prophet.
He said he can't be original prophet.
No. He's not part of us.
He said he's not part of them. He said yes.
Money even has about 3 weeks to go.
He has 3 weeks. In fact, he has 3 weeks to go.
For you to know that it's not part of us.
For you to know that it's not part of us. If a person dies in 3 weeks, that means they were never part of you. See logic. See spiritual, African spiritual logic. And people will eat it up. People will eat that up like it's no man's business. Ideally, if another human being is about to pass away in 3 weeks, maybe you can prescribe something. Maybe you know something's going to cost you. And then you can say, hey, why don't you pray? Why don't you pray? I see something, you know. But no. I'm interpreting all of it. Chidima, leave me alone.
Hexpad hybrid cookware serves up 3 in 1. The best parts of stainless steel, ceramic, non-stick.
He said if you're a soldier or somebody who smokes cigar, if you see his lips, you will know that this is one of them. This is the analogy. If you see somebody who smokes cigarettes and stuff like that, by the time you get to bus stop, you see this person's lips as well. It's like, please, can I have some matches? And this is how we know if somebody passed away, and you know if they are part of you as prophets. All right, I'm listening. I'm looking at the chat. I want to see what your comments are on this. This is how gullible people are, especially in societies where survival is a major concern. You know, it's so easy to get them. Just give them an analogy of a black lip person with a cigarette and say, you see, then the same way we know who is the true prophet. Now you know I'm a true prophet, Abi.
Bí ẹni tó ní ìjọ synagogue yìí TB Joshua bó ṣe kú.
He said the way
àwọn gbèlì mi máa pé àtàwọn èèyàn náà máa sọ pé ìránṣẹ́ Ọlọ́run rèé ó ti mọjọ́ tí ó kú tó ló sọ ṣáájú.
He said the way Pastor TB Joshua, Prophet TB Joshua passed away, that it made a bunch of people say, wow, he knows the day is going to pass. Like wow, this must be a minister of God. He said, this birthday of this year, don't worry yourself, just keep praying. Well, we kind of heard from some other people, I think Paul Agomo, that he had been sick for a long time before that, so he probably couldn't celebrate the birthday if he was sick. But let's continue. Don't do party. Don't bother yourself. He never made it to the birthday.
Nínú àsọtẹ́lẹ̀ tí ń bẹ nínú ìwé yìí tẹ́ kọ lọ́dún 2021 wípé ó farahàn náà ń bẹ wípé kò ní ṣe birthday ẹ̀.
Mo ti fún kọ́pì.
Tí ó fi kú.
Mo ti fún kọ́pì ní January.
Ìyẹn January 21.
Yes. Gbogbo àwọn tó wà nínú ìwé yìí máa ń fún wọn ní DHL kọ́pì tí wọ́n sí wọn. Even Stella Obasanjo, Èkó níbí mo ti wọ mọ́tò lọ sábàkúta láti lọ fún bàbá Obasanjo ní kọ́pì méjì.
So he said he had given Pastor TB Joshua, Prophet TB Joshua, the book that he knows. He had warned him, I guess, about his passing. I'm not sure if he said passing, but something will happen. But he had also given Stella Obasanjo the copy of the book. He said he traveled to Abeokuta to go and give Obasanjo a copy of the book. He said he always, everybody that he names there, he puts it in DHL and he sent it to them.
Then when they sọ fún Stella, ìwé yẹn wà lọ́wọ́ Àṣàbí but mi ò rí àwọn
He told Stella,
get wọn torí gbogbo ìwé tó fi interview gbogbo ẹ̀ ló kó lọ. Ṣòfò he just went on ceremonial.
now Asabe was the person that used to interview him. And so I'm gonna play Asabe in a little bit. Now they don't see eye to eye anymore and they've separated. Asabe is a journalist who runs a YouTube platform called Asabe Africa. So he said his books are with him. Let's continue.
But I don't care. So Ọlọ́run mọ bó ṣe máa torí àwọn eléyìí tí mo fún dáàdì mi nínú àwọn kọ́pì yẹn àwọn ọba kan wá ń lu wa ìbá fẹ́ trip àwọn òwe yẹn máa gẹ̀ẹ́tì wọn lọ́dọ̀ wọn torí ṣe náà gbé bí ọmọ torí ìlú mi every.
He said he also gives it to the Obas from where he's from, that in his hometown and stuff like that, and some of them will have those books. You can trace it.
Yeah, gbogbo àwọn ọba tó wà lérí àyè máa fún wọn ní kọ́pì.
He said he gives all the Obas in his area copies.
So,
I think it's from somewhere around Ondo town. I'm not sure which part of the Ondo dynasty it's from. But let's keep going.
When now happen, one okay. Stella, go back to ìlú ẹ̀.
He said, Stella, go back to Iruekpe, your hometown.
Baba, it is shit. He has cheated a lot of people.
Your father has cheated a lot of people.
Then you go and repair those markets. Go there, repair the markets and do this and that and that. So, and mo ti drop away from Oyedepo ní church here.
He also dropped the book for Oyedepo in his own church.
That
Oyedepo should pray for his own wife so that she won't have stroke. And Stella now called Oyedepo.
I'm a prophet of the
Stella Obasanjo now called Oyedepo and said, don't worry about that guy. Oyedepo is a prophet in his own right too. Would you say? Pastor Oyedepo of the of Winners Chapel, right? So I'm not sure if Oyedepo would want to listen to Prophet Tibetan because they do operate in pride as well. All of them, they do. Like me and you. They do. So to warn him that go on, because pray for your wife so that she won't have stroke. And Stella said, don't mind that guy, is a prophet of doom.
He dropped copy to him from now. So what she will have. Then go to 3 weeks. Oyedepo sick. On fly.
Within 3 weeks, Oyedepo's wife fell sick and was flown out of Nigeria. So when Stella saw that, she was now scared and she's not like, maybe I should do whatever, But she's like, let me finish my birthday. And then she passed away on the theater bed. Come back. Things are happening. All of this surrounding mortality. People come and go. This is all a journey. This is a phase. Everybody's gonna pass through here and end up leaving. And that's what all of this is about. It's nothing about how Nigeria can be better. Maybe he says some things too. He does talk about Nigeria a lot and politics too. Okay.
Wọ́n ti kan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ sáwọn ẹni pé wọ́n rò pé gbogbo wa ní fẹ́ẹ̀kì pé àwọn ọ̀pọ̀tọ̀ bá débi ń sìn o lè rò pé àmọ́ yẹn máa kọ́ mọ́tò jọ sínú ọgbà yìí tó lọ sí Amẹ́ríkà lẹ́ẹ̀mẹ́ta lọ́dún ẹ̀mẹ́rin yẹn gbogbo ẹ̀ kí ló kàn mí pẹ̀lú wọn ayé.
mo dé mo rí pé wọn ò bá mọ́tò kankan ń ta mo wá kó bóyá wọ́n sáré gbé jáde.
sáré kẹ́nu mo ní ìgbẹ́ mi fúlàní kí ni wọ́n wá ń ta.
That's how we know he's a good prophet, because he doesn't have a car. Apparently. That's what he's saying, right?
mo dé mo rí pé wọn ò bá mọ́tò kankan ń ta mo wá kó bóyá wọ́n sáré.
wọ́n rò pé gbogbo wa ní fẹ́ẹ̀kì.
He said they think every one of us are fake. That's like Tyree saying What you gonna talk about some kind of domestic violence and stuff like? Baba, who talked about fake? Why are we talking about fake? We didn't call you fake now. Is somebody calling you fake? At least not yet in this session, but it must have been somebody's calling him fake. So people think we're all fake, right? And then because of big cars. So because he doesn't have a fleet of cars and he goes to America multiple times in a year, which he does according to him. What thing concern me with worldly things? And this one too said, I noticed too that there's no cars in the outside. Like I thought, maybe some people went out with a car. He doesn't have a car. Why not?
Only a lot on Oluwase. Gbogbo bí torí tó gùn wáyé, ó kó Benin ní 1995. Èmi ni Olúwa kọ́ lò láti kọ́lé gbogbo estate rí.
He's the first one that God used to build a house in all of this estate where they are.
Èmi nìkan mọ́ dá sórí.
He's the only one that sleeps there.
Germany ni mo dẹ̀ ti wá.
And he came from Germany.
You must start now. I knew I'm a prophet by birth.
You knew he was a prophet by birth.
Mo rò pé ní náìsì mi kì í ṣìnà kì í bá ẹ ṣiṣẹ́ kó wá gbà lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́ kó wá ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ ni mo rò pé Olúwa máa fi ṣe ojú àánú fún mi bọ̀ kò fi ṣe o not until June 2029.
Anyway, so
12 o'clock in the afternoon.
At this point, he's finished talking about TB Joshua for much, At this point, based on what we can see, he doesn't have a car. It's not fake. That must mean that he's better than TB Joshua. Now, of course, man of prestige, we don't really care if you're better than TB Joshua or not, honestly. As far as I'm concerned, to each its own, right? Chinye said, not having a car is his choice, Abby. Having a car is a necessity to help you function while you're on earth. They play. We shall see. We're still trying to get somewhere here, right? So that was the video I was seeing earlier on. And then my wife, as I was in the office earlier on, this studio right here, my wife called me and she said, this Baba Tibetan stuff, this guy get mouth. Like, did you know that he's no longer messing with Asabe Africa? And I'm like, what happened? He said, apparently something happened between them and Asabe Africa called him out. And he now decided that they no longer have to mess with each other or something. They just cut him loose, And they have like fleets. If you look here, they have fleets upon fleets upon fleets of videos from years past. Guy used to cover him heavily, So I'm actually going to, let me see if I can find one of the videos where Asabe is in it. But Asabe is always interviewing him. He doesn't have his own YouTube channel, not that I've seen. Asabe is always interviewing him. Why prayer cannot do everything for us in Nigeria? So he's also somewhat of an activist. So a lot of people yield to him because it's almost seeming like he's fighting for the ordinary guy in Nigeria too, right? So unpublished video of Prophet Tibetan prediction of 2021 is Judgment Year and Sport. As Judgment Year and Sport, that's 2021. Okay. I'm sure. Okay, this is the Asabe guy right here. So I'm gonna play a little bit of it so you can see a little bit of backstory of what we're talking about.
$1,000 to $4,000.
Let's see here.
Selling for other companies.
Wash the car, then put the shoe right. One day.
That's Asabe right there.
But nobody wanted to serve anybody in Nigeria. They want quick money, quick fix, quick quiz. They want to fix it quick and go. You see boys bathing on the top of the bridge with white clothes. To come back to your question, Los America on the West Coast. He's still coming. When you look at Proverbs 3, Only length of days is what? Is your hand. Then the Ten Commandment says, thou shalt not kill.
Thou shalt not,
Underline that statement, thou.
shall not kill.
Then
Wait, what's special about thou now? Kilo deal, but you underline that statement, thou shalt not kill. Why?
kẹ́ni tó bá dẹ̀ ṣe mistake ìpànìyàn ìdá yẹn ò ní kúrò nílé ẹ̀. I know my father, ṣe bí bàbá mi nìyẹn, ìyá mi nìkan ló ti kú. Kí wọ́n á dé ìsìnkì sọ fún bàbá bàbá yé jẹ́ẹ̀tì mi wà lẹ́pọ̀t jẹ́ ká wà lọ wo bí mi wò ló ra jẹ́ẹ̀tì rí ìgbàdẹ́ gbàdúrà lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ mi ò dáhùn ọlọ́run ara jẹ́ẹ̀tì fún jẹ́ẹ̀tì kọ́.
He said people were praying for him that God would buy jet for him. He said jet call, jetini. So this is why it looks like a lot of people gravitate towards this message, because it seems like very, people love the humble thing, especially if it's expressed humility and all this kind of thing. And like I always tell you, what people say is not enough. The fruits of the Spirit is really what you should be paying attention to, particularly over a period of time, so you can notice some patterns. That's what you should pay attention to. Now, I don't know. Again, like I said, I haven't seen anything to indicate anything here. The only thing I can tell you is that Nigerian Christianity is more or less ritualist behavior and herbalist behavior. I mean, just look around you. Holy waters, all those kind of things. I get it. But people literally, if they don't see anything that look like graven image, they don't feel a connection with God. And if that's not enough, if they don't do graven image, they will make the man of God. They will make that person God. There's nothing wrong with that. I just need people to be aware that that is what is going on. Okay? There's nothing really necessarily wrong with it unless that person starts to violate the people, right? Which is kind of the allegations that TB Joshua was receiving the past few days. Which, again, we can't really judge TB Joshua because he's gone. But the people that are responding to it, we got to pay attention to those people, because if they are responding to it and they see things that way, the way they see things, they're probably going to perpetuate similar behavior. So the fruit of the Spirit is what you should pay attention to. If I come to you and I say I'm humble, it's not good. Okay? If I come to you and I start telling you a bunch of stories about how people think I'm humble, it's not good. You don't know me like that. You do not know me like that. Okay? Until you get to be around me long enough, in person, long enough, for a period of time. Even if you come to a weekend and you come and receive knowledge, wisdom, and we rub minds together and we do things together for a whole weekend of events that we're trying to build ourselves with regards to our relationships, self-development and stuff like that, things I do want to do in the nearest future very soon here, right? Even when we do that, you can't know me in one weekend. You don't. You just don't, right? Especially if I have a tendency to say, me as a humble person, and I start quoting Bible to say I'm better than the next person. Listen, I could be better than a lot of people. As a fact, I'm probably better than a lot of people. I just said it. But that is a useless information for you, is what I'm saying. You need to match that with my behavior over time. And that's all you can do with either we're talking about TB Joshua or Tibetan. But there's more to this. But that's Asabe. I wanted you to see who Asabe Africa is. The next video that I want to... So my wife was now telling me that they said some issues. I'm going to read that article to you. I found an article online. And then I'll play a video that kind of like corroborates it. This article is on the Cable NG. It says Lagos prophet who promised church member land near Dangote refinery in 65 million naira mess. All right. Marcus Tibetan, a prophet of the Celestial Church of Christ, has been accused of a 65 million naira land scam by his church member David Timileyin. Now, this report is not new. This is from June 6, 2023. Okay, so it's still just, but for you guys, you're probably getting to know him for the first time, right? And this is just all alleged. We don't know what's the truth. Okay. According to Timileyin, a real estate businessman, his relationship with Tibetan was that of a father and son, as he had taken the prophet as a spiritual guide. Timileyin said in 2022, Tibetan informed him of the availability of 2 hectares of land, 30 plots, supposedly in Ketu, Ekpe area of the state, belonging to Omolara Akintonde, another church member and former First Lady of Ogun State. Okay? You Ogun State people might know what this is. I don't know. The value of the land was put at 2 million naira per plot and some additional costs, which put the total money at 65.5 million naira. After he showed interest in the land, Timileyin said Tibetan offered himself as a go-between for the transaction. He said he told the prophet that he would need to get a lawyer to help seal the deal, given the huge amount involved. But the prophet told him he would not need a lawyer since he's the one involved. Timileyin said he paid the 65.5 million naira cost of the land to the prophet to be transferred to Akitonde. But a year after, Timileyin has not been allocated the land, neither did he receive a receipt of payment nor any documentation of the land. Instead, he has been involved in a back and forth conversation with the prophet and Akintonde. And I quote, "He has not denied collecting money from me. The transaction evidence is there in the audio. On the other hand, Akintonde has also not denied collecting money from Prophet Tibetan," Timileyin said. Land is in Ekpe Forest, not near Dangote refinery. Wala, 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 wala. Let me get my...
Wala, wala, Nigeria don't report to Atiko Sawakalu. Wala, wala, wala.
Wala, Tiwa. Excuse me. How come you're able to be traveling in and out of the country is a good question. Both Tibetan and TB Joshua originated from the Celestian denomination. TB Joshua was a Celestial pastor before branching out and starting his own church in 1987-88. Yes, I've seen that somewhere too. And Dini said, Jesus said, "By their fruit you shall know them." He didn't say by their gift. Fruit of the Spirit include, that's a good point actually. Fruit of the Spirit include love, joy, peace, kindness. Yes, those are after effects. Because people might have good gift and the aftermath of their gift, you have to start paying attention to that, right? TB Joshua excelled in all. Yeah, that's a good point, Dinis. Thank you for that. Let me continue here on the article. So the article continues, says, Timileyin said he visited the land without Tibetan's knowledge and discovered that it was not what was described to him by the prophet. The prophet told me the 30 plots of land were close to the Dangote refinery. In my mind, I was even thinking, like, why would you want land next to Dangote refinery unless you're actually producing for that factory or in business with the employees of that factory? Why would you want that? Maybe some kind of business move, but next to the refinery, Jesus Christ. But I have since discovered that the land is in the forest of Ekpe. It is largely an uncultivated land in the remote areas of Ekpe, which can't sell for more than 1 million naira per plot. Timileyin said, remember he was buying it for 2 million naira per plot, right? Timileyin said, the prophet was furious when he got to know I went to check the land. It was like I had done something evil that was after I had paid. I wonder why he was so annoyed that I went to check the land I paid for. It was when I saw the land that I discovered it was not the land they told me about. Later, the woman said the earlier price of 2 million naira per plot was a mistake, that the land actually cost 5 million naira per plot. So, for the 30 plots of land, I may have to pay 150 million naira. At this point, I said I'm no longer interested in the land and they should refund me. The woman has blocked me from her phone. That one is gone for life. Forget that thing. Nigeria people. Hey, so sorry. It's gone. That money is gone. Before she blocked my number, she asked me to go and meet the prophet since it was the prophet who collected money from me. I had to use a friend's phone to reach her to put further pressure on her to return my money. At a point, the prophet told me even if the woman agrees to refund the fund, what if she dies in the process? Huh? What do you mean, sir? My son was like, what do you mean? What would I do? He had also made several insinuations about an impending doom. Jesus. He told me one time that There are people who build mansions and never lived in them. When he was trying to discourage me from getting a lawyer, he asked if I have heard of cases of lawyers being killed or kidnapped. Ah, Jesus. In a letter to Akintonde, Ayo Durojaye, Timilehin's lawyer, asked for a refund, saying the land deal is tainted with fraud. The lawyer said his client also discovered that the land was allocated to Akintonde by the Lagos state government for purely commercial purposes and not for residential buildings. According to Durojaye, the land was supposed to be for a petroleum refinery. And I quote, "I'm no longer involved in the deal." In a phone call with the cable, Tibetan denied receiving money from Timilehin. "I'm not dodging, I'm not running, and I'm not a small boy in Nigeria." That's basically the tone of, that's his typical tone. That last part where I say I'm not a small boy in Nigeria, that's the typical tone of Prophet Tibetan. He said, "I also met Timilehin through the internet. I didn't know Akintonde," that's the governor's, ex-governor's wife. He's claiming he doesn't know her. He didn't know her either. "She happens to be a member of Celestial Church and I'm a shepherd in the church," he said. "She told me she had land to sell, a gigantic land given to her by Lagos State. I've helped a lot of people abroad to buy land through the woman. I don't collect commissions. They brought the land documents to my house and Timilehin came from Abuja and signed it. Then I told Timilehin and the woman that my job of connecting them is done." Well, Timilehin is claiming that there's no documents, right? My job of connecting them is done and I'm no longer involved in the deal. I didn't collect a commission from the woman and Timilehin. He should go and meet the woman to refund his money. I didn't collect any money from Timilehin. However, bank statements presented by Timilehin showed he sent about 63 million naira in installments to the prophet from February to March 2022. Several calls and messages to Akintonde's phone number seeking her side of the story were neither answered nor acknowledged. Meanwhile, in a voice note obtained by the cable, Akintonde said all inquiries should be directed to the prophet, to whom Timilehin paid the money. Jesu Abaye. Chai. Akinton, what's her name again? Let me see if I can see. Omolara Akintonde. Huh? This is crazy. This is on the public site on the cable NG. But this is crazy. This is crazy. Okay, yeah, I see the woman's picture now. Let's see. When I checked her name, well, I checked her name. This is what came up. All right, so now this is just allegations. It doesn't tell us anything, right? But there's something I want us to pay attention to there. The idea, Nigerian pastors in general, in Nigeria, they will say things like, "What do you need a lawyer for?" All right. Now that's the responsibility of a person that's dishing out 65 million naira. That is your responsibility to protect your money. If you're giving somebody 65 million naira for some kind of product, you better know what you're doing. That's the woman right there. Okay. Better know what you're doing, because that money is going to be gone for a long time. You know, is that a threat? I mean, I guess. Tibetan might be a good preacher of the scriptures, but when it comes to the fruits of the spirit, he is a colossal failure. He's quarrelsome, arrogant, lacks self-control, and resentful, even publicly. I mean, we've seen some of this conduct even in some of the video we just watched, right? And but like I always say, I just look at people unless I know them. But you know, the scripture is very clear about by the fruits, by their fruits, right? You shall know them. Is that what it says? Because I'm a terrible Bible scholar. Anyway, so with that being said, there's another video that I wanted to play. So that's the story of the land, but he actually spoke to it. There's this video I'm going to play right now as a follow-up to, hold on one second. Let's see.
Get another degree.
All right. All right, so I'm going to play this video, and I have to translate in Yoruba again. I told you he's a typically Yoruba person, but it was on this TV show. I guess it's called Oyinmomo TV. It's on YouTube as well. And okay, this is the one with the subtitle. So I'm gonna translate, but you can see the subtitle on the screen as well.
láìpẹ́ yìí lórí íńtánẹ́ẹ̀tì ohun tí à ń rí ni pé ẹnìkan jáde ó ní tìmí lẹ́yìn lórúkọ òun ní pé land deal kan òun fẹ́ ra lẹ̀ owó bíi 67 million ẹ̀yin lẹ gbà àkáǹtì náà san sí òun ò rí lẹ gbà òun ò rí bọ́ọ̀lù ṣe jẹ́ yìí kí lè fẹ́ sọ sílẹ̀ bóòlù ló ṣe jẹ́ gan.
ẹ sà èmi ọjọ́ wo ló ti mọ̀ mí land deal ṣe mo jẹ́ bí commissioner for land.
That's him. That's exactly how he talks. Let me rewind a little bit.
land deal kan
So you can see this
láìpẹ́
subtitle.
lórí íńtánẹ́ẹ̀tì ohun tí à ń rí ni pé ẹnìkan jáde ó ní tìmí lẹ́yìn lórúkọ òun ní pé land deal kan òun fẹ́ ra lẹ̀ owó bíi 67 million ẹ̀yin lẹ gbà àkáǹtì náà san sí òun ò rí lẹ gbà òun ò rí bọ́ọ̀lù ṣe jẹ́ yìí kí lè fẹ́ sọ sílẹ̀ bóòlù ló ṣe jẹ́ gan.
ẹ sà èmi ọjọ́ wo ló ti mọ̀ mí land deal ṣe mo jẹ́ bí commissioner for land.
Hey, it says, do I look like the commissioner for land? That's not the question. The allegations, answer the allegations, sir. This is typical. Nigerian older folks, they usually do this. The pastors, anybody in places of authority, governors, they all do it. Okay? Pay attention.
It's 1 acre and 3 plots.
He said, where you came to meet me, that place is 1 acre and 3 plots. This still has nothing to do with the allegations. Are you seeing the pattern? Listen, there's no allegations of sexual. It did not touch any breast. Okay, let's be clear about that first of all. Okay. Remire Asabe. Oh, is that it? Thank you, Deyo. I appreciate that. I always say Asabe. Deyo James, shout out to you. Thank you. Asabe Remire. Okay. Asabe Africa. I feel like the guy himself has said Asabe Africa, but I'll take it in. Anyway, this Baba is talking about the 3 plots of acre where you came to meeting. That means he's not hungry. If he said, did you take this person's food? Nigerian older folks will say, do I look like a hungry person? Okay, it's not Nigerian older person. They say Nigerian people always answer questions with questions. Did you take the candy from that place? Do I look like a candy eater? No, that's not the question. That's not the question. No, I did not take any candy. That would be a more appropriate answer. Maybe I took some candy. Which one are you talking about? Yes, I took some candy, or candy. What do you mean by candy? That would lead us in the right direction too, But do I look like a candy taker? No, that's not the answer. That is a question. That will be a question. But let's continue.
níbi tí. no àtọ́jọ́ tí mo ti dé Èkó mi ò rálẹ̀ one plot rí acre but táwọn ọmọ mi fẹ́ travel 4 acres of land ni mo ta tí mo fi 23 million náà fi travel.
So when he said àtọ́jọ́ tí mo ti dé Èkó, that means since I've been to Lagos, I've never bought one single plot of land ever before. When he said that, I was thinking he was going to say, I don't buy land. But he actually went on to say, the minimum he buys ever. He's trying to show you I'm not a small boy. That's what he's trying. That's the only way he's going to answer this question. Even though we're talking about 30 plots at the end of the day.
1999. Wow. Acres of land in Mota, 23 million of it traveled in 1999.
Wait, what?
One plot. Acre. But now I'm on the travel. 4 acres of land in Mota.
When his children were going to travel, he sold 4 acres of land.
23 million of it traveled in 1999.
Wow.
Orí mi lórí YouTube. Òun wò mí, òun wá ń ta Abuja wá sí church.
Ìyẹn tì mí lẹ́yìn.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, òun ta Abuja wá sí church.
Read the subtitle.
Sọ pé ẹ̀rín ló máa ń bẹ̀rẹ̀ ẹkú.
Ẹ̀rín ló máa ń bẹ̀rẹ̀.
Tí o bá fẹ́ sunkún àkọ́bí bẹ́ẹ̀ bó rẹ̀ díẹ̀ job start ẹkún bẹ̀rẹ̀ ni. Lára ẹ̀mí yọ̀ mí lóyún. So ó dẹ̀ wá ó ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀. Wọ́n wá láti Abuja, à ń kọ́ church ó dá sí ó ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ because things is moving.
For him.
Yes, everything is moving. So òun àtàṣàbẹ́ ò mọ́ra wọn ò ṣe kankan. Ìgbà tó máa tó wá rán sùtánà tiẹ̀, òun tó gbẹmọ lára máa. Èèyàn tẹ̀lé jẹ́ kọ́mọdé máa ṣe bí wọ́n rán sùtánà bí eléyìí o gbọ́dọ̀ free lára ìdí ẹ̀. So then wá ló fẹ́ ṣe NYSC. Mo prefer me.
The person wants to do NYSC. So what my wife told me is that as Remire Asabe Africa, right, was Asabe Africa he got to know about the case and he asked him, and then it became an issue between them, because the way he typically answers question is like, don't ask me stupid question. That's the way he answers questions, you know. So I guess that was like, no, but you know, your name is attached to mine. I'm always calling you the prophet of our time, the Nostradamus of our time. Like, that's what we're getting there. And that's what became an issue between him and Asabe Africa. Let's continue. Remember what we're talking about, TB Joshua, this prophet, we're talking about this prophet. Like, is there really one prophet that's better than the other? You know, if they don't go to do, I guess, go to Babalawo's house, you feel like they're better. Is that person necessarily better because they don't go to Babalawo's house, right? A pastor that will basically say, just wire the money for a whole land, 65, wire it through me, right? Never mind the lawyer. A pastor that doesn't know that it's not just about me stealing the money. I don't have to steal the money before there can be issues. A pastor that does not have that wisdom to know that there's a reason beyond just I'm a thief to use lawyers, right? You use attorneys for big real estate deals, not just because somebody's going to thief the money. It's because things do get rough. Conflicts happen and it gets very messy, and you make it worse by doing. That's why they have what they call the escrow accounts and things like that. They call them trust accounts, so that this kind of monies can sit down in there until the actual property or product or services exchange hands. But to them it's about who is only pass, and this has nothing to do with real life. That's the lesson in all of this, right? Who is a better prophet? It's not the lesson here. You will never know who is a better prophet. How's that for you? You will never know, okay, outside of by their fruits, of course, okay? But even at that, people's access to their God, you will never really know. The only thing you can tell is if it feels good around you, and if it feels good enough, you'll probably justify the bullshit anyway. You might even call it God. You might even call them God if it feels good enough. I mean, don't be you. You'll be person like the rest of us now. You call them, no, we're not really worshiping them, you're just honoring them. No, you are turning them to God, and they will always fall off that pedestal, even if they don't go to Babalawo's house. But let's continue. There's some more here. There's some more.
House of Assembly. So when we go out to attach one bell, she NYC. So but she everybody loading will be on YouTube. Well, then city people, the Asabe man from Lower Alabama call.
He just said Asabe Dodomi, not Remire.
And when you are to my grant interview, lunch,
press conference in there.
Lunch, we don't. I do all my go phone. Color have one.
Báwo ni ìròyìn tó bá wá?
The budget continue. So why don't you have to see blogging something láti Dublin. So my do say my cover me, my say.
So he also stays in Dublin.
Yeah. The sermons, everything in Barbrigan in Dublin. So my fully intro to what I'm doing there.
So this Timberland guy has been helping him with some videos and stuff like that. Okay, so it sounds like a young person, a person that's doing NYSC. 65 million naira is quite a lot of money for that person, right?
So but she continue.
Okay. One by Nigeria and
read the subtitle.
I want to press more. True. Me sure about sorrow too, but she never knew into the vines. Only if you check my device. Only Tinubu Maku in 2023. Time.
Wait, why are we talking about Tinubu's death again? Jesus Christ. How did we end up there?
True. Me sure about sorrow too, but she never knew into the vines.
Okay, Segun Adebayo is a person, some kind of prophet that predicted the death of the president of Nigeria, and it never happened. So he must be better than that person. Are you paying attention?
You check my device. Only Tinubu Maku in 2023. Time yẹn ló bu Tinubu yọ. Then gbogbo bàtà rẹ̀ tó ní kò ní sí ìbò máa wà gbogbo ẹ̀gbẹ́ tó lé mi parọ́.
Nígbà tí Àṣàbí kó lọ́rọ̀ tí.
náà kò tí kó ń gbà náà. So inú lọ́ọ̀nchì yẹn ni gbogbo wọn ti lè ṣú ti yá gbogbo wọn lò. So gbà tó wá yá ni Tìmílẹ́yìn wa ni woman to advertise Madam Akíntọ́ndé. So kì í ṣe pé òun àtàkíntọ́ndé fẹ́ ra sílẹ̀ as Mr. But ìmọ̀ tó sọ fún èmi nìyẹn. So pé òun nílẹ̀ kan ó ti rí mi ó ti wá sí church mo ti gbàdúrà fún mi kó má wọrí ó ná fún òun ní refinery òun máa ṣe refinery ṣe gbogbo òun ní kò sí problem òun náà kọ́ fún kí Dangote náà wàhálà ṣàpé ọ̀rọ̀ tó bá jó títọ́ ò lè change bó bá pè mí láàrin òru the same thing náà ni màá sọ so ìgbà tó bá dẹ̀ ṣe wọ́n ní mo dẹ̀ fẹ́ launch ìwé o tó bá lè wá so àwọn èèyàn tó lè rí because media máa wá.
Oh my God, it's not addressing it.
Okay,
let's see.
tó bá jẹ́ àwọn ọmọ ọ̀jọ́ ń kọ́ báwo ló ṣe fẹ́ ṣe ó lọ mú price ẹ̀ wálẹ̀ tí bàbá ṣáde kúrò so later they started the agreement so mo wá pè pé bí ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ṣe ń lọ yìí woman yìí mi ò mọ̀ délédélé.
He's saying he doesn't know the woman. He doesn't know. He did well now he does, but he didn't know Akin Tonde.
So then owó tọmọdé bá dẹ̀ kan ní láàárọ̀ kó má lọ fi jàkàrà tó bá.
Said the money that this young man have from the beginning, so that he doesn't use it to eat candy. That's how we say it in Pidgin. He doesn't use it to eat candy. He said, instead of this is a lot of money, I don't really know this woman like that. If you're going to pay for that land,
then we like to sọ through me so that gómìnà yẹn má lọ dáhàrín méjì kó ṣe mọ̀nàmọ́ná. So this is.
So pay it through me. What about the part where the young man said he wanted to use a lawyer and allegedly he did not? He said, "Don't worry about a lawyer." Have you ever heard of a lawyer who actually got killed in the middle of the night? Like, wait, what?
So owó yẹn ló san through UBA. So gbogbo.
So details yẹn ni bó ṣe wọlé.
Inú mi ò tẹ wá tó fi ṣe ti àgbàlagbà. So gbogbo detail yí àyẹn mo wá 6 months tó fi ebi méjì náà lówó ẹwọ account mi. So mo wá fi gbogbo ẹ.
Ó wà ń bí.
Oh, Baba did not steal the money.
Send gbogbo ẹ síbẹ̀. So then ó tó wá sọ pé òun ò rí receipt òun ò gba receipt náà ó lè sọ pé ò gba receipt náà. Nígbà tí èmi fúnra mi nílẹ̀ síbẹ̀ ilẹ̀ tèmi rẹ̀ so ilẹ̀ tèmi rẹ̀ this is the deed.
Tẹ́yìn náà ní nínú ilẹ̀ bá
mi dọ̀ ọ̀rẹ́ this is the deed. So eléyìí ń sìn about 30 million. So gbà tó sọ̀rọ̀ lọ́ọ̀yà má ṣe lọ́ọ̀yà nígbà tí company dá lọ́ra lẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ ti ní lọ́ọ̀yà ẹ jẹ́ ká fún wọn.
Did you hear that? The company that you went to buy land, my background is real estate, so I know. The person representing the seller is not your lawyer. Listen carefully to me. The person representing the seller is representing the interest of the lawyer. A person who is a prophet, who is predicting the fate of a whole nation, should know that. Okay, they should have read up to a point where they just know that. Like, and no, they have their own lawyer, but you need your own lawyer. You want to wire the money through my account? Why? Just wire it through the lawyer's escrow account. You know, the lawyer, they have bar associations, they have regulatory bodies. Lawyers can steal your money too, but highly unlikely, right? So I have seen lawyers steal money and go to jail before, by the way. But at least you can, if the lawyer is, there's money is this escrow account and the lawyer spends it, that you can hold them accountable, right? There's more than enough forces to hold them accountable. But if you pass money through prophet's account, but it might just be a donation.
owó tó wá san yẹn àkáǹtì tí ló san sí.
ni mo ti gbọ́ bí kówó fẹ́ni tó nílẹ̀. ọ̀pọ̀ mímọ́.
He said he has paid the person who owns land. The way he even answers the question, it's like, don't ask me stupid question, this man. But I don't want to put words in his mouth. Let's just go by what he's saying, right? By the way, this is the Segun Adebayo, the person that predicted that Tinubu was going to pass in 2022 and never happened. I don't know why anybody is predicting that. If the person has not passed and you saw death, you're just dreaming. If anything, you can prescribe prayer, fasting, and just say, hey, let's make sure you're taking care of yourself. Let's talk about the health of that person too. And let's talk about, hey, make sure they're engaged spiritually with their God. But you know why they won't do that? Because it's a tool of manipulation. That's what it's coming down to. Okay? Manipulators don't necessarily admit that that's what they're doing. They're not necessarily aware that that's what they're doing. Just because the person is hurting you, they're not always aware that they're hurting you. Keep that at the back of your mind when you're dealing with these issues. That means it's your responsibility to protect yourself. I can't call one pastor scam and the other one not a scam unless they actually steal. If what they did is they told you that God said and God didn't say, that is not a crime anywhere in the world. I just want you to be aware of that. Remember, we're talking about power. I'm not here to castigate anybody. We're talking about power. You don't have any power in saying that it is a crime. That somebody predicted something and it didn't happen. I can predict stuff, it didn't happen. That's my right. It's my opinion. It's your responsibility to have discernment and be able to read the fruits of the Spirit. That's your responsibility at the end of the day. That's why you don't see me do well with anybody trying to drag TB Joshua outside of the fact that this church will not answer this allegation properly. Right? It's useless.
Kò kàn mí lọ́wọ́, kò kàn mí lẹ́sẹ̀ mọ́. Then nígbà tó wọ́n fẹ́ gba receipt tiẹ̀, wọ́n ṣe receipt tiẹ̀ ní February 15, 2022. Wọ́n rẹ̀ náà Mr. Timileyin. So wọ́n ní kí n tóró fẹ́ ra late time kò tí di stable address. Wọ́n ní kàn lo address church. So dáhàrin wa ò bá dá. Ṣé ó lè ní kí n lo address church for something 65 million?
65 million.
Yes, so then wọ́n wá lo address. So that
He was a young man. Ó ti fowó ẹ̀jọ̀ kara ni.
Ṣe Timileyin ọ̀rẹ́. Ó ní HIN.
Timileyin ni kò ṣe lẹ́yìn.
So then ìwé tó ló wà lọ́wọ́ mi pé mi ò kúrò lẹ̀.
What does this have to do with anything? Timileyin. What does this have to do with anything? He's not answering the question. He's just showing us. Anyway, let me see here. Top it.
So gbàdúrà pé méjì náà fi mẹ́lẹ̀ yìí wá. Ó ti kó tiẹ̀ lọ́hùn rẹ̀. Then iye tó máa jẹ́ at the middle this and that. Ọ̀nà kan sí mi. Then iye tí land cost ti máa jẹ́ 36 million. Then ilé tí 30% of purchase price. Then o survey. Then 750. The survey per acre. Òun náà ló ń kọ́ síbẹ̀ yẹn. Then òun náà pàpà sign ṣe bí àwọn méjì madam fúra ló sign it. Then a deputy.
So now this part, I'm not sure how it operates in Nigeria. Maybe somebody can help in the comments. Here there is purchase contract for a piece of real estate. The purchase contract is not the deed. You know, there is a difference between the purchase contract and the deed of land. Okay, I'm not sure if they call it deed in Nigeria. They probably call it, I think he said something earlier that that's his own deed, right? A deed is going to be the iweile. It's going to be the actual documentation that proves that you are the owner. The sales contract only proves that you engage in a transaction. It does not prove that the transaction closed. Okay, it proved that you agreed to a certain amount of money. It shows the people's name on it. Okay, it shows what land are we talking about. Here they will have a legal description. They will have actual address. Actual address is not as useful as the actual legal description of the land, right? And then it will have signatures and the terms of the contract. It does not prove that you own the land. So what he's talking about is the contract. That's what it sounds like. He signed some contract, blah, 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 blah. The man seems like he's saying he does not have the deed of land.
Director on sign. So we have to go for somebody. Somebody correct here, okay. So then, not to Lily, Temire. Once my name is correct and everything, Temire. So automatically.
Wọ́n ṣe wá rí ìsàlẹ̀ buhari wàhálà tí wàá ṣẹlẹ̀.
Kò sí wàhálà kankan ara ẹ̀ ò balẹ̀ ní. Ṣé pé.
The host is asking, where did the wahala come from? And he said, there's no wahala. There's obviously wahala. It's the same thing as a person who says your wife is complaining that, you guys are not doing well. Okay, there's no wahala. I mean, your wife said she doesn't come. When you do this thing, and you're like, she's a liar. She's a liar. She does come. What? There is wala.
Wala.
There's wala now. But already you can see again, these things are about competence. That's what I like to talk about. It's not, I don't care what kind of connection they have with God or not. I don't care. But if a person does not even have the skills to say, well, there's a misunderstanding, and I'm open to having a conversation about it, or they can talk to my lawyer about the misunderstanding. You have to acknowledge that there's a misunderstanding. If you're having trouble acknowledging there's a misunderstanding, that is problematic. Back in the days, you used to be able to get away with stuff like that. Okay? Back in the days, you might get away with stuff like that. Today, no, not so much. You get called out. The Indomie generation will call you out. I'm sorry, okay? You're not just going to be like, oh, there's no wala, just shut up there. You need to calm down. No, you need to calm down and respond to a person that says you collected money, you know? But after all, he has not touched breast, so it must be a better woli, right?
Táwọn bàbá sọ pé sí church ẹ̀ẹ̀mejì ló máa padà wá kẹ́rù ẹ̀ o. Ṣùgbọ́n táwọn ọ̀dọ́ máa bọ̀ bàbá rí ṣe àbẹ́nibọ̀ tó ń jalè bá rí ṣe tó bá wà church yìí kò sí nǹkan tí olùmí sọ pé tẹ́ bá tẹ̀ sọ létí à provide ẹ̀ gbàdọ́ tí mo fi tọ́ ti máa lọ fọ́lé. So gbàdọ́ tẹ̀ máa parí gbogbo ẹ̀ tó ń ṣe everything tán ló wá ní òun fẹ́ gba ilẹ̀ òun a ti ṣe processing ìlú òyìnbó everything gbogbo ẹ̀ ò bọ́ sí o. Tó fẹ́ lọ dẹ̀ náà wọ́n ti jẹ́ lówó ní Canada tí mo ti bá gbà á ṣe gbogbo everything even mo tún wà lórí.
There's too much going on. There's too much. He's been helping him trying to get to Canada. All of this has nothing to do with the 65 million naira or 63 million naira. If money went through your account into another person's account, and that money, you should be also fighting that person and say, hey, why is he complaining? No, I put my name on the line. Can we get him his deed? You know, oh, that wasn't the land. And why are you selling lands that people have not seen? That is messy. Why are you selling land that people have not seen? Now, that's possible, but it must be some explicit agreement that, yes, I've seen this, I know exactly, I know the legal description, I know exactly what the location of this land plot is. I can see on the map that this is the refinery and this is the land. And yes, people can do that. They can buy land without being present with power of attorney and things like that. But so this man was a truly young man. So me, if a young man, a 21-year-old, a 28-year-old Gonsef, he wants to buy a land, they never say, Baba, you need to see the land though, because I know you're a young man, you're probably hyped for no reason, you're buying a land. Go and see it and make sure you get a lawyer. You don't have your own lawyer. Okay, call these 3 people, pick one of them that will represent you. Unless there are ulterior motives, of course, which is still kind of dumb, because those ulterior motives, you have paper trail, that money will be traced back to you, and your reputation is on the line, for crying out loud. Which one is better? Is it necessarily better? This is actually almost worse, you know. But hey, it doesn't matter. It's not about profit. I'm just talking about being just a grown person and just knowing how these things work. And if you don't know, ask somebody. That's the whole point of using the lawyer. If I read the contract now, I don't know what's inside it. I don't understand their lingo. I have a lawyer read the thing for me so I can break it down. What does that word mean? When you use it in that phrase, in that context, what does that mean? Inside the legal document, you see things like, and therefore, after, and lack thereof. I'm like, what does that mean? I don't know what that means. Break it down. Right? But,
Fún mi náà pé tẹ́nì ẹ bá kọ̀ tí ò fún ẹ lówó ẹ tó rò bó wà Canada mo láwọn èèyàn Canada èmi náà máa wọlé lọ máa lọ bá get sọ̀rọ̀ sá láàárín yẹn o.
Ẹ tiẹ̀ súnmọ́ra gan ni bí bàbá sọ
mọ́ra àti bàbá tó bá wá pé mò ń bí mọ́ mo bá ti wà 40-something years ebi 30-something years old ni mo bírú ẹ̀ lọ́mọ náà.
So now he's talking about he can actually have him as a child. This is not relevant to the 65 million naira. Relevant now. It's not below more, yes, but can we talk about the topic at hand? Where is the 65 million naira? How can you help us? Because we know that Baba is a prophet of God. true prophet of God, we know that Baba did not, steal the 65 million naira. This is all a honest mistake, misunderstanding somewhere. But we need to be prepared that crisis will happen inevitably in life. That's just how it works. That's just how it works, But let me see this system. Let me see. I think there might be a video here I want to play. Let's see. Let's play this one. Because it's not going to admit anything, obviously. Okay, so now he's talking about what happened between them and Asabe Africa. All right. So let's see.
I only know about youth Obi not like, but Obi will win on the internet.
So he's talking about how he predicted that Obi will win on the internet. He said all the youth people like Obi. Okay, this is his moment. He likes to shine in this moment when he talks about how his prediction came through. Okay, I did predict that Tinubu was going to win 8 months before it happened, but I'm not really a political person. But I still made sure that I came up with some kind of empirical data driven type of reason why I'm predicting that much. I tried my best to come up with something. I even rated each criteria on a scale of 1 to 10 and stuff like that. I said Tinubu is going to win, right? I didn't have to do that. All I could say is that Tinubu is going to win, and then say if you want me to and then after he wins, I will just tell you, come on, let me predict your life, and then you guys will respect me more, and then you will start sharing my video a lot more so that more people can come here and watch our videos. Wala.
On the internet. You don't know any question, you can't come Obi or you like Obi. So we retain your team. What that you don't promise on me, what you do long. So that's a Paris interview. Even the Los America.
Of course, I just finished interview. We just go to America. I just go to London. Oh, I was in Dublin. Oh, the man Jewon. That's the truth. Nigerian people eat that up like Indomie. If your pastor has not traveled around the world, who is your pastor?
Possible. Torí ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀dà bíi ẹṣin tí ọba máa ń gùn jáde. Ó dọjọ́ kan, ó kàn jára ẹ̀ níbi tó ń so sí ni. Ó lọ fẹ́ lọ test popularity òun ní ọjà Gbótako. So bó ṣe wọ́n ní gbòòrò lọ.
He's talking about what happened to Asabe. He said it's like a person, okay, that's like a donkey or something like that, and they want to test. They think they are the one that's more popular than you, and they want to go and test their own popularity by themselves. And the donkey just entered. That's what he's talking about right now. Jesus Christ.
Possible.
So read that. I said because his issue is just like the king's horse. One day it cut itself loose from where he was tied.
Ẹṣin tí ọba máa ń gùn jáde. Ó dọjọ́ kan, ó kàn jára ẹ̀ níbi tó ń so sí ni.
He says he was going to test his popularity. That's the guy that used to interview him. He's talking about right now, right?
Popularity.
And then he entered the community. The people brought sticks because they do not know who owns it. And then they started beating. The horse. Because they don't know who owns the horse. This is the part that my wife heard and she was like, you need to see this. Tibetan is a character. Prophet Tibetan. So now we finally found out that it wasn't as bad as popular as Baba Tibetan.
Ọba náà wò mọ́ ọ̀la wa ní òkè ọba gbé ọtún fẹ́ aṣọ lé lórí ọba gun orí ẹ̀ oníkàtúgbà bẹ̀ lọ kábíyèsí o ìyẹn náà ṣọ̀rọ̀ rí pé títí dọ̀la ẹran lẹ́ran á máa jẹ́. And when you look at Isaiah 40 ó ní dájúdájú koríko ní ènìyàn ẹranko ní ènìyàn. Bí ọ̀rọ̀ tàtàbí ṣe.
Asabe don collect woto from Prophet Tibetan. Jesus Christ. Baba ẹ lẹ́nu ọ̀rọ̀. So that's what he had to say about Tibetan. But it's not over. There's something. Asabe, of course, continues his work. Come to find out that the person that runs the media platform are actually extremely powerful people too. And because they have the ears of the public. They also have powers to a certain level. They also have power to a certain level to control the narrative. And, sometimes pride will not let people see that. That's the reality. That the people that run the media, they have power. If you can manipulate the media, kind of like Trump, that's a very powerful skill set to have as well. So, but with that being said, I want to show this video of actual Asabe himself. Asabe, of course, did not stop there. Asabe interviews everybody. Asabe interviews Babalawo, interviews pastor, interviews Islam people, interviews everybody. And that's one of the things that makes him powerful. He gives his opinion every now and then, but it's not, it just lets them talk, So let's find out if Asabe is being beaten by, is the horse that's been beaten by wood in the market right about now. Let me play this video. That's Asabe right there. He's saying he's close to you and God is using you for him. This guy we're talking about is a traditional clergy, Oluwo, high chief, Olowoniyi Olajide. It's a gifted traditional. I'll read it on the screen for you now. A gifted traditional healer and seer of. Says this guy is a Babalawo person. He's saying deacons, bishops, and all those people come to him. Asabe is just doing his thing, right? He says some people are close to you and God is using you for them. And he said, yes, of course. He said people like Prophet Tibetan, right? He said these people have gone around the world, and God is using you for this kind of people. And this Baba said the work they do is good. He said, me as a person, me the Oluwo of wherever the town is, Chief Majua of Irele Kingdom in Ondo State. He said, if the person's hands are not clean, right, I won't deal with them. Pastor, deacon, prophet, doesn't matter, as long as their hands are clean, He said, if you just know this one is not clean, I won't do anything for them. He said there are so many people like that that would just be like, no, you just be going, I can't help you. He said somebody called him yesterday, some Alpha. Alphas are like Islamic what do you call them, clergymen, right? Wait, Anthony he predicted France will win the World Cup against Argentina. Who won? I don't watch World Cup. Who won? Somebody tell me who won. So just tell me. A lot of predictions has come true, so I'm not laughing for any funny reason. I just know that I know what I see when I see it, But I also keep it personal because there are people that wholesomely believe in what they believe in. And sometimes that's the answer to their problems, But who won the World Cup? I beg, tell me, why will continue to play? Is the person said they need an Olugbon? Somebody came. Let me see what Google even know what Olugbon is. Olugbon translation. Olugbon translate to English. Olugbon is speaker. Okay, it's speaker, direct translation. But Olugbon means something that can confirm. That can confirm to you, Excuse me. Let's continue. Wala. So some Muslim Alpha people looking for Olugbon so that whatever he says will come to pass. The person came to this Babalawo. Babalawo is not a crime. That's just a clergyman by way of traditional religion. Okay. Christians need to understand that so that they can address the world issues better with some wisdom. He wants Olugbon. They're showing a picture of an Olugbon. That he can that he will just bury where he's doing his worship and he's taking care of people, but anything he says will come to pass. He said he laughed. He said, but you said God uses you. So what do you want to do with Olugbon? He said, like when he prays for people, he wants it to be exactly like that. He said, I will tell you the truth. If you want to hear, me as a person, I cannot make Olugbon for you. Olugbon, for those of you that don't understand Yoruba, is a voodoo thingy that you say something and it comes to pass. You know, and traditional rulers who use herbs and things like that, traditional clergy, healers and people like that, they can make things like that, you know. So he said, but I will not make it for you. He said, if you want some kind of drink or concoction that I can make for you that somebody can drink and they can have healing, that I can make that for you. Because he knows that if he gives you this Olugbon, you know, this thing, if he gives you that, you know, I keep telling you, these things are neither good nor bad. It depends on what you use them for, right? But, you know, when greed enters the picture, people will use the weapons at their disposal, or when they get caught up in their emotions. In the case of relationships, they will use the weapons that they have. They will use it against you. You know, that's just what it comes down to. Or they will use it to walk all over you to get to where they need to get to. And that's what you see in a lot of cases of all this expose that you're seeing everywhere. It's greed. It's greed and misguided people that have been granted misguided access to power. Power is not negative all in itself. It depends on what you do with it, right? And if you don't have any kind of self-control, you know, people would do bad things and try to get away with it, and they will do it in the name of Christ. Yes, they will. He said, you're about to take the Olugbon from me and use it for other things. No, what kind of things they can use to manipulate people? They will just say, hey, I heal this one, I heal this one, I heal this one. Now go and bring more people to me. And then they will start deceiving a ton of other people, right? And they might even get lost in the middle. They might say, you know, I will just do enough. I will do just 3 months and I will stop. There are some of them like that. But of course, how easy it is to stop when you know you have that kind of power. Is it like, it's not easy, you know? Let's say. So now, so Asabe is very good at what he does. Asabe Africa is very good at what he does. Bring that, babe. Is that male? Huh? You know what? Okay. Because, you know, he's very good at what he does. I said, you know what? Thanks for the story, but let's come back. So you're saying Prophet Tibetan is a good one, right?
So
you're saying this Tibetan is okay. It's a your kind of person. He said you can't find any kind of messy things in his hands ever. Okay. He said ever. They've established a point here. God used this Babalawo for Tibetan. In what capacity, we don't know. We don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. He said, what advice are you going to give Prophet Tibetan as he's going now? And then the Babalawo started smiling. Can you see his face? Let me make it bigger. So what advice would you give Prophet Tibetan? Hit that like button if you're liking the content. Hit the like button that you're here hanging out. Let me hit the like button. He said, what advice would you give Prophet Tibetan as he's going? And the Baba is like, you remember how Abijawara used to laugh in the movies? Oh, Agbako. Agbako, who is now 110 years old. Jesus. Let's continue.
Telephone.
ẹ ṣe.
Yes, sir.
ká sòótọ́ lójú Ọlọ́run àtẹ̀yàn lójú àwọn àgbàmà tó
He said, thank you. Before God and man.
láyé ogun dání òmùrí.
He said, he does not, he's an ingrate. Kumori. Honey is an ingrate. Look at this Baba's face. He said he's an ingrate. Ingrate for what? Let's continue. Chinye said, oh snap. I don't know what he's about to say. Let's keep going. He said, I must tell the truth. He said he does not know what God has done for him. He didn't say he did anything for him. He said God has done a lot for him. He said God used some of us. What does that mean? God used some of us. Is it to preach or to advise or to what? To what capacity? We don't know. The title of this Asabe video says, yes, we helped Prophet Tibetan, but he is ungrateful. Oluwo of Ode really. He said in prayer and in herbs and Egbo. I don't know the English of Egbo. But herbs and, Ewe Ategbo, meaning Babalawo stuff. In prayer and all of that. But he's an ingrate. He does not know the mercies of God. He's referencing God. He's also saying God. He's just not saying Christ. Now, in this video, you can go and watch this video on YouTube yourself on Asabe Africa. Hold on 1 second. Make a cough. In this video, this man referenced, he also quoted a lot of scriptures. Quoted a lot of word of Christ, but he made it clear that he's a traditionalist and he uses Ewe Ategbo. He's a Babalawo, essentially. So what advice would you give to him? Is there anybody who has ever helped him that made him to be a person or to be a great person? He said he should be able to answer that person. Okay. Jesus Christ. Be careful what you follow. Make sure you have a relationship with Jesus yourself, or if you're a Christian person. He just quoted the Bible again. He said the Bible said, let me rewind it a little bit so I can make sure. He said you should be able to answer that person. He said the Bible even said it. He said when I was cold, you covered me. I don't know. I think there's a place in the Bible like that. He said I was hungry, you gave me food. When I was thirsty, you gave me drink. You gave me water. And if you can do this for, my beloved, you will see the mercy of God. You will see the favor of God. He said eventually God will turn back on that person if they don't do that. So pardon me today. We just have to deliver. So the traditionalists themselves, they also call on God, right? Everywhere you go around the world, they have their own different names that they call God. And oftentimes when people are very arrogant about this simple fact, they literally disconnect from God just by doing that. Regardless of what scriptures they're quoting to support that point. We all have to be careful. We have to be careful Again, I strongly believe in the fruits of the Spirit, personally. But this might have something to say about the power of the Bible. And then I'm going to add context to it, and then we end the session for the day. Okay. Let me play this video right now. He said, if you carry the Bible in your hands and you pray from morning till evening that this tree should fall down, that this tree is not going to fall down. But if olugbon is cooked properly, if an olugbon is cooked properly, and he said this house should fall down, it will fall down. He said that's herbs and herbs. Herbs and herbs. I don't know somebody please help me. What is egbo in Yoruba? Put it in the translation. Google did not know. But that's just herbs, okay? Using herbs. If it's cooked properly, ulugbon, he said that house will fall down. I mean, we all know that there's voodoo, right? We also know that people are extremely disrespectful to the name of Jesus, disrespectful to the name of Jesus. The Bible, people use the Bible to swear after they have stolen. But when you say for Gungbari, most people are scared of that. He says the work of Babalawo. He said the Afars also use the Ewe and Egbo.
In most cases.
He said the work of Afars and them is not that much different. He said Afar that's strong, like he will even take Nyoni Fufun, that means white sand. I know that's a lot. There's a lot there. Some of you are not ready for this. He said Oduifa is Ifa that's in it. Oduifa, that means Ifa's I don't know, incantation, something like that. Ifa is a god, it's a god. From traditional Yoruba traditional religions.
Yes. Can you test beauty along many diluguni? Laila. That's what do five say farm.
Odufa continue. Ìyẹn ló ń pè ní meditation. Kí ni wọ́n máa ń pè ẹ̀ náà tó máa ń ṣiṣẹ́ ẹ̀ lọ. Ilẹ̀kẹ̀ yà ẹ̀sìdíò. Wọ́n ní wọ́n ń ṣe kí ni màmá péré pé ẹ̀ náà. Meditation. Ǹjẹ́ àdé sọ pé ẹ̀yin gẹ́gẹ́ bí olúwo ìlú.
I'm going to leave that alone right there, okay? Let's end it right there. The point of this conversation today, the main point of this conversation today is just to continue to wake you up, for you to understand. Even the scripture talks about you yourself, you are a priest, right? And you have more powers than you realize. And but the key thing is that you don't necessarily realize how much power you have. You know, I always like to bring it back to relationships, but anything from relationships down to everything you have ever wanted in your life, you have the powers to achieve much more. Not obvious. I'm not saying you can get everything you want. We're not talking look around. We're just talking about the powers in knowledge. That's what I think the scripture is particularly powerful for. The teachings inside of the scripture, especially if you are previewed to proper interpretations and you use it for self-development, it's much more powerful in that direction. And but of course, some of these pastors know that you're not happy with that. You need something a little bit more powerful. You need signs and wonders and miracles, and you know there's powers in the world that they can engage to get those things for you, but the results are usually temporary in nature, you know, or you have to keep cooking it, right? And you might just miss out on life altogether, spending all your energy cooking the manufactured or artificial whatever you're getting from that, you know. But when you understand that the knowledge inside of the scriptures, particularly from a self-development standpoint, the greatness you create from those are the most sustainable. From wisdom, right? From knowledge, from understanding, emotional intelligence, those are more sustainable, right? And it becomes very hard for people that will use the name of God in vain. It becomes very hard for them to get you. If somebody calls your mother a witch, it's like, where is my witch mother? You have anything else? Oh, they will kill you. Well, everybody will die. What else? Oh, well, you can do something. You now see them, they start changing their tone. They say, well, you can pray for 3 days and then God will elevate it. But they usually will let you, they want to test how much fear is operating in you first, before they tell you that, okay, something bad is going to happen. And if you're not careful, they have the powers. They have the evil powers. I won't even call it evil. They have powers to make some of these things happen, just to push their evil agenda. Now the agenda is evil, because nobody should be manipulating another human being for their own gains. But they will, when greed enters this matter. They will. And how do you protect yourself from that? Self-development, self-improvement, self-development. And the Bible is a great way to do that. The scripture is a great way to do that. The Bible is not going to help you pull down a building on top of 120 people. No, it won't. It won't. It's not designed like that. And if you see anybody doing all this kind of stuff and they're putting cameras in people's face and this is what they stage on the world platform for people to see, that should be obvious to you that they have other types of agendas, right? It's called miracle because it will happen every now and then. If it's happening every day, it's no longer called a miracle, right? At least not from the standpoint of the general population. But another aspect of it, if you start seeing just being here every day, waking up every day, having all of these relationships with all the tests in it to test you, to make you grow further and grow better as a human being. If you start appreciating all of that, you might just find out that, wow, life can be a lot better. And in Nigeria as a culture, our cultural, whatever we want to call culture, which we've mixed up with the religion of Christianity, which has made it even worse. Yeah. They're not ready for that, but it's not sustainable. All of it is going to crumble. You have to go back to the basics. Right? You have to go back to the basics. So it is what it is, but there's nothing really new in all of this. There's always been false prophets, people that go back to the traditional stuff. Sometimes they don't necessarily go to the Babalawo, they just go to the practices. There's certain doctrines that's just obvious. Like this thing right here, Oyinbo did not give us this one with the Bible. This is us adding this to the Oyinbo stuff. Some of those things, right? They use it to manipulate you. Those things are very powerful because they connect it with your fear. They have to connect it with your fear before it can work. When you believe in them, it works. If you don't believe in them, it doesn't work. If you don't have fear, okay? If you don't hog up on life, if you understand that life is this moment, time is passing you by right now in this moment. If you understand that, I think you will have a better life. You will have a better chance of creating a better life rather than being obsessed with what it isn't. You have to be careful. Joy said, I got to know about Asabe TV 4 years ago when he started interviewing Bisola, one of TV Joshua's former disciples. Yes, he has tons of videos from Bisola from the past. That's another thing he did in the past. One of TV's Chinye says, Christians have rubbished the name of Christ, for it make it seem like we as Christians are powerless. So sad. The most powerful thing is our mindset. That's what it comes down to. Our soul, our mind, our heart. Those things are extremely much more powerful than any kind of cooked up odugbo. You want to pray for a tree to fall down. You want to have somebody's legs grow out of nowhere. There's so much technology already that's already representing miracles that's available for anyone with any kind of incapacitated situation to thrive, sometimes much more than people that have complete hands and legs. Those are the miracles we need to be looking at. And I'm not mad at any kind of miracle that happens every now and then. I'm just saying, if somebody is putting cameras on people's faces and that's all they show, at that point, let's borrow ourselves some brain and say, okay, this person is up to something. Okay. at that point we have to say, okay, this person is up to not exactly good. You know, why not good? Because they will, greed will enter. If they know that they can show you a person's a crippled person start walking around, they know they can show you, and they know every time they show you that they make an additional 200,000 naira. Nothing's going to stop them from cooking it up and showing you more of it. Does that make sense? It just makes sense. It's just human beings, just human behavior, right? That just makes sense, right? Just understand that that's the nature of human beings, and it's about survival, especially in a society where survival is a top concern. You now have to pay attention and say, okay, I don't want to be, there are hospitals. If you want to see a miracle, find a way. If you're, I don't know if it's possible. I don't know if they do any kind of program where you can go into a surgical procedure room. Just go and watch them open somebody up if you want to see a miracle. Just go watch some of those. Watch somebody's stomach get opened up and close back up. They go to sleep. You'll see miracle. Maybe watch a woman giving birth or something. If you need to see a miracle that badly. Now, if you have personal problems and you need to get some miracle, I'm not knocking you. I understand. I understand. But usually it doesn't even stop there. As you can see, the allegations we're talking about, nobody has addressed it. There's none of the followers that have addressed it directly. What they're saying is that they're all liars. You know why? Because people are obsessed with miracles and signs and wonders and things that they just want. They want to know everything there is to know, and that will never happen. So I'm going to leave it at that. Is he better than him? My question for you is that, is Pastor Prophet Tibetan, is he necessarily better than TB Joshua? And if you think he's better than, what criteria are you using? Right? From the little bit I've shown you today, it's on the public space. I didn't create any of this. It's in the public space. What do you see? Is it necessarily better than him? Do you think your prophet at your church is better than these people? Is that how you're still thinking? Okay. What if you start having a personal relationship with God on your own? Could that change a lot? Does that mean you will start not trusting your prophet? No, it just means you see them as human beings. They are human beings like you. They can make mistakes. Greed can take them over. Pride can take them over. They are also subject to being able to showcase their fruit of the Spirit. Either they pretend it or they're cajoling or anything like that, but we can tell after a while, are you this person or not, right? Are you able to discern which one is spirit of evil? Which is the Babalawo spirit of the devil to you? Because he's just doing our ancestors' tradition. That's all he's doing, right? He's even saying, like, some people use this power for the wrong things. He's the one saying it. Us, for as far as we're concerned, as long as somebody calls the name of Christ, it must be correct. And now everybody's attacking the body of Christ. I just want you to think about this deep enough, a little deeper than right and wrong. That's all I wanted to do on today, But that's all I have on this episode of today. Another one in the bag. Do me a favor, hit that like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications. Okay? And help me share this with the rest of the world. We're talking. And don't forget, go and download the book at manofprestige.com. manofprestige.com is where you go to download the books. About 5 books up there. There are 2 on real estate. There's 2 on relationships and marriage. And there's 1 on marketing. When you get to that page, you'll be able to pick the one that you like. It's at manofprestige.com. It's also pinned to the top right now. All right? But let me know your thoughts once we're done with the show. Just go leave a comment for me after show comments. All right? And I'm going to go take care of myself because of the stuff that I have going on. All right? But I want to appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. Somebody said the other day, you always say all right. What's all right? All right, all right. You go there all right, oh. Everybody go there all right, all right. Hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
It's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.